Can I have a motion to open the meeting? First, Lisa, a second. Bruce, all in favor? I'll take a motion to adjourn to executive session. May I have a first? Kate, a second. Bruce, all in favor? Oh, and move to executive session to discuss personnel and contracts. All right. Very good.
Thank you.
The board has returned from executive session and there were no actions taken. Can I have a motion to open the meeting? First, Lisa, a second. Bruce, all in favor? Let us all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Each meeting we hear from students from different buildings about all the wonderful events going on at their locations. Tonight we are pleased to welcome our youngest students from Goose Hill Primary School.
Hi, my name is Hannah. Thank you to the Board of Education for inviting. Hi, my name is Hannah. Thank you to the Board of Education for inviting us here to present. We are excited for a wonderful year at Goose Hill. Our first day of school was lots of fun. We learned all about our new teachers, classmates, and learned routines so we can be independent.
Hi, my name is William. Kindergarten has been learning to stretch out words in writing. They have been pointing to match the words that they read. First grade has been writing small moment narratives. We exercise daily to build our executive function skills with Florida. This year we have been using illustrative math. We have been learning addition and subtraction. We also learned to take surveys and use tally marks. We get to play games through math centers and share our math ideas with partners.
Hi, my name is Michaela. During social studies, we learned about the Constitution and rules we have in school and the United States. Kindergarten has been learning about weather and science. First grade has been learning about patterns in nature such as the moon phase and the sun-day-night cycle. We had so much fun playing games, dancing, and eating with new and old friends at the Welcome Back Goose Hill Carnival. Hi, my name is Julian. The Cold Spring Harbor Fire Department came to visit. We learned about fire safety. We loved going on the fire truck and seeing their special tools, such as the jaws of life and the mask. The Cold Spring Harbor Fish Hatchery visited Goose Hill to teach us about turtles and how to take care of them. They gave each class one tiny turtle as a class pet to raise for the school year. We voted and picked names such as Pumpkin, JJ, Gary, Zippo, Zippy, Skittles, and Shelly.
Hi, my name is Claire. Hi, my name is Claire. In the gym with Mr. Malone, we learn about being healthy. We play games like pin down, tunnel tag, banana tag, pumpkin tag, zombie tag, and goggle. Mr. Abley has taught us the notes so, la, mi, and sto during music class. We play pass the ball while singing. We learn to sing and say this our way. Hi, my name is Michael. We have been listening to reloads in library while also learning about the authors and illustrators. We also learned the difference between fiction and nonfiction. The Creative Learning Lab is our place to learn about technology and science. We have been learning to be responsible digital citizens. We have been using the engineering design process to create our own balloon puppets based on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Hi, my name is Will. We have been creating landscapes in art with Miss Albanese. We have been learning foreground, midground, and background, just like Claude Monet's famous water lily pond. Kindergarten are learning about geometric shapes based on the artwork of Paul Klee. We also celebrated Spirit Week by wearing a shirt with kind words. We also wrote while writing a kind act on paper, chain links. We connected them to others' school links. Look around, you'll see how much the kindness has spread around the distance. Hi, my name is Adriana. Did you know Goose Hill had its own pumpkin patch? We pick our pumpkins, then decorate them in the classroom. This year we had really big pumpkins. We had so much fun dancing in our costumes at the Halloween parade. We did the Scouts and State. Hi, my name is Kai. Many of our parents were trained to be recess helpers. I am so excited to see my parent at lunch and recess. This year, we also wore orange for Unity Day and invited someone new to play with during recess. Goose Hill gets to vote too. We vote on Pajama Day versus Stuffy Day. Stuffy Day was the winner. Hi, my name is Liv. We like to help others at Goose Hill. We collected cans, goods, and boxes for our Thanksgiving food drive for Helping Hands Rescue Mission. Thank you so much for inviting us here to tell you about Goose Hill.
Thank you so much for coming. I can't believe you packed all that in, and it's not even the end of November. It's not even the 100th day of school yet, so amazing. But who's counting, right? That's great. Great job, everyone.
Thank you. Do you guys have any questions for us?
I'll be that question.
Take a picture? Marissa, do you want to do a picture? I think maybe. I'm going to get down somewhere. Come on, let's find out. Let's get Mom and Dad, you want your pictures? Come on, I know you want them. Stand over there, head of it.
That's why I said that. And I said hi. And I said
All right. Now we will recognize some of our students and teachers from the junior senior high school who have received the AP Capstone Diploma Award. I would like to introduce Megan Geiser, who will give a brief description of the AP Capstone Diploma Awards.
Many of our senior parents are remembering when their children were that young. I'll try to be brief, but I think this distinction deserves a bit more commentary. So good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us tonight as we celebrate a group of students whose work over the past 2 years has been nothing short of exceptional. Our 15 AP Capstone Diploma recipients. This is a rigorous and meaningful distinction, and we're proud to recognize the dedication and intellectual curiosity behind it. I'll try to keep my head this way. For those who may not know the full scope of the AP Capstone experience, it is a College Board program that invites students to think deeply, investigate complex ideas, and communicate their findings with clarity and confidence. Through 2 sequential courses, AP Seminar and AP Research, students learn to frame thoughtful questions, evaluate evidence, construct arguments, and share their insights in both written and spoken form. To earn the AP Capstone Diploma, students must earn 3 or higher on both AP Seminar and AP Research, and on 4 additional AP exams of their choosing. This represents a significant academic commitment across multiple subject areas. Students who complete seminar research with qualifying scores earn AP Seminar and Research certificate, but the diploma signifies an even higher level of accomplishment. The students we honor tonight demonstrated curiosity, persistence, and resilience. They tackled complex questions, examined real-world issues, and produced original research that stands as a testament to their high level of scholarship. Their achievement appears on every AP score report sent to colleges, along with a certificate awarded by the College Board. We're also proud to recognize the teachers whose expertise helped make the accomplishment possible. Thank you to our AP Seminar teachers, Ms. Glynn and Ms. Halloran, and AP Research teacher, Ms. McLeese and Ms. Athanasio. We thank you for your mentorship and your role in helping students refine their abilities as researchers and emerging scholars. And now it's my honor to recognize our AP Capstone Diploma recipients. John Arado, I'm just going to ask if you come up here. Sorry, I should have said that first. If you would come up here so we can see your beautiful faces. Aspen Canzaneri. James Cornish. Lena Dagley. Christopher J. Simone. Lucy Eisenegger. Yoyo Furukawa. Brian Goldstein. Olivia Ketterer. Graham Lynch. Owen Neary. Richard Pollock. Warren Way. Ashley Winthrop. And Catherine Ziegler. To our students, I would like to say your achievement reflects exceptional intellectual curiosity and commitment to excellence. You embraced complex ideas, persevered through challenges, and produced work that demonstrates both depth and integrity. You have earned this distinction, and we are proud to recognize you for the capable scholars and emerging leaders you're becoming. To each of you on earning this distinguished honor, you should be proud of yourselves.
Ms. Howard, Ms. Glynn, Ms. Athanasio, and Ms.
Yes, please
come on
join me.
down. I won't have any more for this. I'm gonna get upstairs. Wait, parents.
Congratulations to our parents.
So this is what we do. We just have celebrations.
You're not impressing. You can't from that Congratulations. Look at eyes. Look at eyes. That's my
Good evening. We were very pleased to recognize those 15 students this evening who earned the AP Capstone Diploma, a first for Cold Spring Harbor, and to recognize the 4 teachers who lead this exceptional program as we celebrate the milestone together. I would like to welcome Steve Hauk. He's in the back. Hi, Steve. Welcome to our leadership team. Mr. Hauk was recently hired and has started this week as an interim director of STEM. Steve joins us as a retired administrator with many years of leadership experience, and we are excited for the expertise he will bring to this important role. Tonight's agenda also includes the appointment of Ms. Allison Offerman Cententano as our new Assistant Superintendent of Business. Welcome. Allison brings extensive central office experience and has already been warmly welcomed by our leadership team. In other news, we are continuing our good faith negotiations to resolve the teacher's contract. The state-appointed fact finder selected December 15 as the date for its first meeting. Additionally, budget season is officially underway with our first dedicated work session held on October 21st. We are looking forward to several additional budget work sessions in the months ahead as we prepare the budget for the upcoming school year. Our next budget work session will take place on February 10. This evening, we are looking forward to 2 presentations, one highlighting new course offerings and another sharing the results of our community survey. We extend our warmest wishes to our teachers, staff, and community for a very happy Thanksgiving and a wonderful holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Good evening, members of the Board of Education, students, staff, families, and members of the community. Welcome to our November 18th Board of Education meeting. I want to begin by celebrating the outstanding achievements of our students. This fall season, every one of our varsity teams earned the distinction of New York State Scholar Athlete Team, a powerful reflection of our students' commitment both on the field and in the classroom. We also congratulate our championship teams: football, Big Four champions; boys soccer, co-county champions; girls tennis, Nassau County champions; girls soccer, Long Island champions; and our all-state cross-country runners Claire Della Carpini and Isabel Guerra, who placed 3rd and 6th in New York State. Their accomplishments are extraordinary. Last Friday, we opened our UPK lottery, which will remain open until December 12th. I'm thrilled that we are able to once again offer universal pre-K here in Cold Spring Harbor, an important addition that strengthens our early childhood education opportunities. Across the district, our students and staff have been demonstrating incredible generosity leading to Thanksgiving. Food drives, donations to Operation Sweet Tooth for our troops, leadership collection of Halloween costumes, our natural helpers gathering socks, coats, and winter gear. Every school has shown tremendous compassion for those in need. Our Lloyd Harbor Ellis Island Day was highlighted in the local newspapers last week, recognizing the extraordinary efforts of our parents, grandparents, volunteers, and staff who make every experience so meaningful for our students. On World Kindness Day, November 13th, our schools embraced activities focused on empathy, gratitude, and taking care of one another. Students were yelled to shine kindness, and together, Goodsville Primary students created over 1,000 kindness chain links, as you can see around the room, to celebrate and working together in kindness. Our music lab students have composed new hold music for our district phone system. These recordings began to roll out this week, and they sound fantastic. Last week, we inducted 58 new members of the National Art Honor Society, and were treated to a moving presentation by alumni Tori Miratello, now a successful photographer in New York City. Our schools honored Veterans Day with assemblies, class discussions, letter writing campaigns, and meaningful reflections in social studies classes. We extended special appreciation to our Executive Director of Technology, Dr. Anna Fulton, for her service in the United States Navy and Naval Reserves. Congratulations to our speech and debate team for an exceptional showing at their recent tournament in Model Congress, and to the students inducted into our World Language Honor Societies, where 60 students across Spanish and French were inducted. Our students also presented at the Civic Summit at the Nassau Community College, sharing their reflections from last June's Normandy trip honoring the heroes of D-Day. Their work was featured also in the American Legion website. 2 weeks ago, our community enjoyed 3 outstanding performances of Clue. The cast and crew were phenomenal, and I want to thank Mr. Dembowski and Ms. Lipensky for their cameo appearance. It was a great honor to be included in the performances. And just today at Westside, 3 retirees came back to read to our students as part of the book club activities. Ms. Jane DeRosa, Ms. Linda Gerber, and Mr. Bill Oloff were superstars with the students, sharing over 100 years of teaching experience between them. I was fortunate enough to have worked with each of them here at Cold Spring Harbor, and today, fortunate enough to share a meal with Mr. Rose and Ms. Gerber and the rest of the the West Side staff. Looking ahead, this Friday and Saturday, November 21 and 22, our Lloyd Harbor School students will be presenting Cinderella, 7 p.m. both nights in the PAC. Tickets do sell out quickly, so if you haven't purchased this ticket, please do it as quickly as possible. Winter sports now underway. Our musicians are preparing for winter concerts, and we have a busy, exciting season ahead of us. Thank you always for your continued support for our students, staff, and schools. In this season of thanks, please take care of yourself, and if you can, take care of someone in need. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. This is the first discussion section of our agenda. So we'll turn it over to Ms. Libertini with our new high school course offerings.
Yeah, do you want to do discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't in my script. Oh, I read it wrong. Okay, my bad. All right, so the first, sorry, I messed up the script. Okay, so this is our first discussion portion, not a presentation. Does any board member have any item for discussion?
I do, actually. It's kind of something that's been brought up before, I think, but I'm just curious to know, sorry, I don't know if this is working. This, in the elementary schools, Kim, I know you're, somewhat new, but the math period. So can you explain to me, there's a, I think it's twice a week, a double math period?
So the way so we restructured a lot of the, this is before I entered here, but
Right.
we restructured a lot of the elementary scheduling. So math essentially, they have 90 minutes,
Yeah.
if I'm correct, across the 5 days of the school week. And how we structure the 90 minutes can sometimes we give them extra periods at the end. We can split the math block to accommodate some of the other specials and other sections that come in. So, for example, we have STEAM and we have we have other push-in models. So we alter the way the structuring is throughout the week, but all students are getting essentially what comes to 90-minute math.
So it seems to be something that's a reoccurring problem, I guess I could say, this year, is that the 90 minutes is a long time for a kid to sit through in elementary school. And is it possible that we could get our math done within maybe no longer than 60 minutes at a time? I mean, 90 minutes is a long time for a little kid to sit and do one subject.
So I think that we have to think about what we're doing during that 90 minutes, and I think, if we think about it in terms of, it's not a 90-minute straight instructional block where students are sitting the entire time.
I think it is.
Our math program typically is what we consider a mini lesson, and then they are also pulling for small group. They're doing some station rotations. We're doing some independent
Okay, I just think it's maybe something we can look at for next year, because I don't think it was always 90 minutes. I think from what it sounds like, it was 90 minutes, and then it was moved to a shorter amount of time, and now we're back to the 90 minutes, if I'm correct. And, it sounds like since COVID, I know we've been trying to push to get back, if that's even possible. But 90 minutes, I mean, developmentally, I think after 60 minutes, which I think is long, they're just not. I would think that it's just beyond what they're capable of not every kid, I don't want to make a blanket statement here, but a lot of parents are saying to me, oh my gosh, my kid is like, they're sitting through the math, they don't want to go to school on the days where they have that double math period. I just think it's something we should, maybe rethink when we're looking at the schedule, because, I know we've also had the conversation with the board of trying to extend recess, right? So now recess seems to be shrinking by the time the kids get their food on the long lunch line, they get outside, and they have, 15 minutes to run around, and yet then they're expected to come inside and sit for 90 periods of math. Just doesn't seem like that is the most successful path for them.
And we definitely have to see that not every grade level is the same. Definitely, when we say elementary, it covers kindergarten through 6th grade. So there's going to be
But
different
when you think about
structures.
like a science class in a 7th grade or a math class in 7th grade, how long is the period?
Well, I also
It's
think
40,
that,
right?
that the 7th grade and the maturity level of those 7th graders and the way that we handle math in 7th grade is very different than what we might do in elementary.
But it's more than double in the 6th grade. So, it's not 80 minutes, it's 90 or 85 minutes. It's a significantly more time. So would it be possible to rethink that, or maybe split it up in the day so they're not sitting for that long?
Ultimately we say you should be teaching 90 minutes of math across 5 days, but there's fluidity with which how it is they grade that math. So
It doesn't sound that way though, because why are they doing, no, they're doing math every day. They're not doing 90 minutes of math over a week.
6th grade is more structured because it is like a junior high model. You switch from period to period. Where your K through 5 is less structured, you may stay with the teacher. They have more flexibility.
Okay, whatever the reasoning is, like whatever it is that's causing it to be 90 minutes, I don't know if it's schedule, I don't know if it's, that we're trying to catch them up. Would you agree or disagree that you think, do you think that is something we could look into?
I'm not objectional to looking into it, but I also think that we want to consider the fact that we're bringing in this new illustrative math program in our 3 through 6 next year. The program itself involves a lot of center work, which, it involves a lot of exploratory time. The structure of the math lessons will not be what Envision's math is. So I would hesitate to make that change in a year when we're actually onboarding a brand new program. What we've seen at the K-1-2 level has been remarkable with what's happening in math. I've been in multiple math classrooms since we've launched this program. I'm seeing engaged students that are active, having mathematical dialogue, talking about conceptual understanding of mathematics, applying language at even our youngest levels. So as we onboard this in grades 3 all the way to 6, I would hesitate to pull back on what our math time looks like.
I mean,
because
60
we're
minutes
building
is
new
a
structure.
long time. I'm not saying to pull back, let's do 30 minutes. I'm just saying we should take that into consideration. With recess being shortened and now they're expected to sit longer. I don't know the math program. Maybe we'd want to get the teacher input, because I think that, the teachers might have something to say too about the 90 minutes in terms of how the kids can sit and focus for 90 minutes. Just, I don't know about the new program. I haven't seen it yet. I mean, I did, I got a chance to look at it, but I haven't seen it in the classroom. I just think it's something that, sometimes you get more, you get more done in 90 minutes than in 60 minutes than having them, how much time are we spending redirecting, refocusing,
And again, I would say that you're looking at it in terms of that it has to be an entire block, and with 6th grade being the exception, the other grades it's not that way. And we've talked a lot with the teachers about where they can put the warm up and where they would put the cool down portions of the new illustrative math program, and it can be broken. And we've talked to other neighboring districts that are onboarding that particular program, and some that are 4 years deep within the program. And 90 minutes does seem appropriate, but I'm happy to explore it, take a look, and get the feedback from the teachers. Identify where it is, if there might be some struggles with what that the block schedule might look like in a curricular day, and try to help them to figure out what's best for kids.
And especially on the days where they do have the 90 minutes, if they could make sure there's gym on that day. I know this sounds so silly, but I know my son's class, they don't have gym on Fridays, and they're sitting 90 minutes of math, and it's hard. It sounds like if there's, in general, it's just a long time. I don't know if that if it's too late to work on that.
It's always hard to predict when it is that we can push any of the specials, because remember that we have many teachers that are split schooled, that are serving multiple grade levels, and we're limited by gym time and where those, those blocks fall. So I could never guarantee that gym would be always on a specific day for every single K to, grade.
Yeah, it's just
That's
something
really
that you could,
difficult.
I understand. I think it would also be easier if we were able to not split teachers, right? Is that?
We would love not to
Yeah,
have
we
the
would love
split
to do
teachers,
that.
but being a small district,
Yeah.
there are just, especially look at Goose Hill and Westside, there's just not enough for some subject level to be a single teacher. We're small. I mean, it is. It's always been a struggle here as a small district with splitting teachers and the like. We would love not to have to do that. It's time
Can
wasted.
I just ask one more question? How many, I know I should know this, but I think I got confused between the school I work in and the school that my kids go to. How many times a week do they have gym?
I'd have to take a look.
Three?
5 and 6 have 3.
And the youngers?
They have 2.
They have 2.
3.
Well, it depends upon the grade level. See, that's-
So Bruce Hill is 3.
3. And then
2, 3,
4.
only have 2?
2, 3, 4, 2 a week, grade 5 and 6, 3 times a week.
Yeah, I think this is, I don't know. I think there's a lot of,
Yeah, I mean, we always struggle. We have 360 minutes. And when we look into build a schedule, I would love to have 600 minutes a day to fit in and more gym and more creative and part-time. It's that balance on education, reading. Some kids, like you said, Kate, 90 minutes of math is fine. They could do 120 minutes, and for some other children, that's a greater struggle. And
but when
it is
they're limiting, when they're only in the gym twice a week and then or 3 times a week and they're shortening the recess, I know that there's
Yeah.
a bunch of parents getting together to discuss longer recess.
I would love for our kids to have longer recess, but again, we're always restricted into the 360. If we could have, 20 minutes lunch,
Who
40
are we
minutes
restricted by?
recess.
The state?
That's our school day in our contract, yeah.
So, yeah, on that topic,
At what age is appropriate to push stamina, to kind of give kids that stamina, call it education, in your 2 previous districts, like is a 90-minute class for that age group customary?
Well, I've been, that's been the standard clock for that class. I haven't seen any.
ELA and math is
ELA and math
generally
are
90
heavy
minutes.
in elementary.
Because there's a fine line between having them alert and rested, but also teaching them, I don't know what age you start to push that timeline out where, no, you're going to have a 90-minute instruction period.
Right, but they don't even have 90 minutes in the middle school. You know what I'm saying? So you're building stamina, so next year they're going to go to 40 minutes.
But I can't imagine that it's 90 minutes of different for next year.
Right, but I'm not saying 40 minutes, I'm saying an hour. I mean, that's still long.
Right, and it is a different level of stamina, different at the junior, senior high. You go from one academic 4 minutes to English, to 4 minutes to math, 4 minutes to science, 4 minutes in between. So you're right, it is a long time for some. Stamina is different. You do have 40 minutes, other than when you go to a laboratory science every other day, it is 2 periods long. Stamina is important. We've been talking to our parents about that in all our PTG meetings and the like, about not having the children opt out of taking the state assessments. Chris said they get opted out the first time they take a long exam is a Regents exam.
Right.
And they've never done that, and they have a hard time with it because they haven't done it. And I respect very much what you're saying too here, Kate. It's a lot of time.
There's not enough movement. There's not
And
enough
kids
movement.
need movement, and there's absolutely, it's this continuous balance we have is what's best for our kids. And we did say when we looked at a schedule this year, if we need to make tweaks during the year, small ones, it's hard to make major tweaks during the year. And we look to see what worked this year, what will be better, and we make changes for next year. One of the things we said we want to have the schedule done before we leave the summer with teacher input, with administrative input. We work with it, see how it operated, and how can we make it better. Always looking to see how we can do it better. Like I said, I would love to have 500.
Yeah, no.
It's
I just
hard.
know from
Yeah.
just hearing from certain kids, when they do get to the longer tests, that's half the battle.
That is half the battle.
And if we're starting, and if 90 minutes is customary, we'll all figure it out, but like maybe the end is not as, you have an arc of the hard stuff maybe in the beginning, but I think it's an important skill that has to be learned through repetition. And, you know, it's probably, is well, again, I don't know, I'm not there, I don't know what the kids are, but I just know it's a skill at some point as a district we have to work on instilling in the kids. Yeah, I had some housekeeping stuff. Well, one's not housekeeping. The facilities committee met, and we'll go through that at the committee report time, but one of the topics that came up, which I think we should consider as a board, is grant writing, not the board writing grants, but we were instructed by a member of the community that's knowledgeable in this area that there's millions of dollars in grant money out there to be had. There are people that write these grants on a contingency basis, we're told, so they would get paid if the grant is awarded, or the district could even employ a part-time grant writer that has experience in writing grants, and we're probably leaving a lot of money on the table by not trying to write grants. And I think it's something the district frankly has a hole in terms of opportunity, and I wanted the board to consider either exploring this either on a contingency basis or even bringing on part-time person that will pay for themselves multiple times over. Any thoughts?
Sounds really interesting to me. Anybody else?
Yeah, you said the board can't do the grants?
No, I think
We wouldn't write them, but
He's talking about hiring another person.
we
or
wouldn't sit down,
someone.
but have an individual write the grants, or you can, it sounds like there are firms that will write grants on your behalf on a contingency basis, where they'll take a percentage of, I don't know how they could take grant money, but again.
Allison is like writing feverishly and was smiling a lot. Yes, no, you have experience with hiring?
I don't have experience hiring a grant writer. I know that at one point there was a science supply company, Board Science. They had a grant writer on staff. I don't know if they still do. This was a number of years ago. And I myself have written some grants, so it's possible. My experience is that it can be hard to get when you're a higher end district with not as many needs, but that doesn't mean that it's not possible.
Yeah, and maybe even the age of certain things, like our West Side building is somewhat historic, and there might be opportunities based on the age of that. So it's just something to explore. It might be money and time well spent.
And on that, we purchase as much as we can, especially through tech, I could say through BOCES where we get state aid. So we try and maximize where we can on state aid. We're definitely nowhere near the highest on reimbursement, but hey, even if it's 15, 20%, whatever, we try and maximize wherever we can. But definitely something we will explore to the board.
Okay, this was a holdover, I forgot to, from prior meetings. We got a report in terms of kids that enrolled in other institutions as they went into 9th grade, and it wasn't markedly up, but it was slightly up. And I was wondering, as a district, do we do exit interviews with the parents? Now, some kids, some families will split and send their kids to other institutions while still having kids here, but do we ever find out from the families what drove those decisions? And if so, I think that would be educational for us to know, and maybe see if there's things we can glean that we can do differently maybe.
I think when we discussed this here, and I believe Jill Lilly was here, we were asking our counselor to see whether we can ask those. And I think it was no. I'll confirm. I do know sometimes parents may say athletics. We have one student. I don't want to go into details with something. They may be going with something like that. I'll confirm what we can and can't do, and get back to the board on that.
But if we can do it, would we think that would be a good exercise? Would anybody value? I mean, they do it.
I would be interested to
Yeah.
hear.
I think it's good feedback.
Everyone else. Yeah.
Okay. Those are the two hard ones, these are more easier. Any update on our marine lab?
I can give you the update on Marine Lab.
Excellent.
So we moved two of the large tanks that were inside the Marine Lab.
Yeah, bring that closer,
Marine.
because it's trying to pick you up.
We moved two.
Then you could lower it, yeah.
We moved two of the large tanks out of the Marine Wet Lab into the classroom space. So that was a huge move. They came in on Saturday and did all that work. I heard from the company there were several plumbing pieces that were back ordered that they now were able to obtain. We are in the process of our in-house electrician. Now that the large tanks are out of the way, we're taking two outlets that were double outlets and now making them quads, and that will work. Anthony was in the process of working with them. We should have an answer tomorrow morning with our in-house electrician. And then in addition to that, I spoke with Jared, and he's going to be giving us a schedule for getting in there starting hopefully next week to really do the bulk of that work. And we're hoping that at least one full rack with all tanks should be done in the next 2 weeks.
2 weeks, and then
At
the
least
whole...
one rack, and then he hasn't given us an estimate on the whole time until he gets through that first rack.
Okay, and then,
I think, is that that would be 8 or 16 tanks per rack.
I think it's 16 tanks.
I believe so.
do you think everything's done by Christmas break, or?
I don't want to speak
Okay.
before, I make
I do
promises
want
that I
to-
can't keep, Mark.
Very good.
One thing the vendor was finding some of the parts, something
Yeah.
on back order.
He went actually outside the country to pull some of the parts because he couldn't get them normally from his usual vendors, so that was a search on its own. The majority, so one of the things that he's going to do is just start the cutting process of all the tanks. Now that he has all the diamond cutters, he'll do that first. Remember, the back of the tanks have to be cut so that the plumbing can be attached, and then we can create our closed system.
Okay. And I forget, when do the condensation tanks get worked on? Is that-
I had actually asked Anthony on Monday to get an update from the vendor, and he didn't get back to me today. We're waiting for the parts to come in. We're hoping as soon as possible to get them, they'll get into work. It would be great to have to do some of the work over the Thanksgiving vacation. They're literally just waiting for the parts they've ordered to be here. So I will have an update for Friday notes on when we think they'll be here, if we have one from the vendor.
Thank you.
All right.
I do, if I could bring up one item we had during our meeting, was that last week?
Yep.
We talked about having a quasi-building condition survey
Yeah.
conducted by, but I think we should do that. I just wanted to say that to the board. We're roughly 400,000 square feet across our 4 buildings. It's about 8 cents per square foot, so roughly coming in a little over $31,000, $32,000 for the work. I just want to say we'll authorize them to go ahead and do that work. It'll allow our new architect to really have a full understanding of our district. Goes into the ceilings, goes through the crawl spaces, knows everything, so we can, do the work that we need to do to get done and move forward quickly on it. I just wanted to put everybody aware of that.
I was going to bring that up on the committee report, but do we have to vote on the money?
We don't.
Okay.
But I just, full transparency, and having a new mark design seems to be wonderful.
Yeah. But we don't have to, given that amount, approve it?
It's part of our contract with him to do.
Okay.
So,
Just asking, I'm not,
The fee is actually set by the state.
Oh, there you go.
okay, excellent.
All righty. Anyone else before I move on? All righty. Okay, now, Kim, we will move to the focus on teaching and learning section. I will turn it over to you for the new high school course offerings. I'm actually comfortable, so it must be warm in here.
Okay.
It's comfortable.
Can we open a little window?
I mean, if I'm outvoted, of course.
Put a little air.
All right, so I'm going to start at the top, and these are really course modifications. So 413 and 413H
Earth and Space Science Regents and Honors, with 475 AP Environmental Science and 430A. Really, the first modification needs to be that we add to the course the program of study. This course meets the NYSED Climate Education graduation requirement, and we're going to be adding a symbol for the Climate Education course because this will be under the new graduation requirements. Additionally, this leaves all of these courses as is, so we haven't changed anything in our course structure. We're just acknowledging that the students that are enrolled in these courses meet that course requirement. For 430A, we're adding the statement, this course includes a climate education project to be completed by all students by the end of the quarter. And that really is just to make sure, knowing that we are a biology for all program, that all of our students that run through biology will really have met the climate education coursework without us having to make any major modifications. When we look at the other paths, some of our students skip Earth and Space Science, so we didn't want to miss any part of our cohort as they move through the 9 through 12 programming. So that will be a summer writing project where we add the climate education piece to the biology Regents coursework. When I move on to 445 and 445H, this really is just us acknowledging that will be the new chemistry NGSS course. So I've changed the language to represent the next generation science course, and the language matches the science descriptions for that particular Regents. And then we kept everything the same with regards to the prerequisite for passing grade on Algebra 1 Regents examination. Any questions on those before I move forward? So the Marine Science Research course, which is 485, we've given it that number. This really is for, given the state of our marine lab and the investment that we have in terms of the programming, what we think that marine research is going to come out of this program. We wanted to give students that are currently enrolled in the program the opportunity to continue their marine research. So the criteria would be that students that wish to extend the completion of their advanced marine science research would enroll in this course. They would have to have completed marine science research itself. This would give it an honors designation. And then the prerequisite, of course, is advanced marine science. And then the marine science research course, it delineates the difference between, because it would be co-seated in the beginning, because we would have very small numbers, I would imagine. So it would be co-seated with marine science, but the difference between those that are enrolled in the 485 and the advanced marine science would be that they would be required to complete quarterly projects and or assessments unique to those enrolled in the research section. For 344, Advanced Algebra Financial Applications, we just wanted to add that this course already meets the NYSED Financial Literacy graduation requirement, and we also wanted to add a symbol to the program of study to help families and students recognize when they are taking courses that lead towards the graduation requirements. Which brings us to 251 Economics and 256 AP Economics. Those courses also stay the same, but we're adding the sentence that this course meets the NYSED Financial Literacy graduation requirement. Additionally, in 251, we wanted to point out and add to the consideration that this course also meets the seal of civic readiness. The 247 is Economic Research and Wealth Management. Again, there's no prerequisite for this course, and this course meets the NYSED Financial Literacy graduation requirement, as well as it supports the Cold Spring Harbor Portrait of a Graduate and Seal of Civic Readiness criteria. And for 535, we changed the language of the Italian course. It's an elective course. We did change some of them based on the Board of Ed recommendations, and we removed a lot of the components that describe culture because we believe that it was recommended that some students may have mixed feelings about the course itself and not signed up for it based on the stress on culture, and so we really aligned it with the AP Italian coursework and made sure that the language also indicated the prerequisites, which were a successful completion of the level 1 coursework in French and or Spanish and the checkpoint A exam. and that the course itself introduces Italian language through communication proficiency based approach. The new courses that are being proposed, for the first one, it would be Finance 325. It's an introduction to real estate. The reason why we have to name it that course is under the new NYSED regulations for co-enrolled courses with collegiate institutions. We're required to make sure that our naming and our description matches the collegiate institution with which our students are receiving credit. So we would be looking to LIU Post for this dual enrolled program. This course itself meets multiple things. It certainly hits the NYSED financial literacy and social studies standards. It supports the Cold Spring Harbor portion of a graduate and seal of civic readiness. And what we believe is it also aligns with our desire to provide students with real world opportunities and engagement in our local businesses, as well as an understanding for career readiness. The next course is AP Business with Personal Finance. That's a new AP that's being offered next year. So the prerequisite would be college introduction to business or accounting 1. It would be a full year course. It does meet the financial literacy and NYSED requirements, and the description there matches exactly as the AP description on the College Board. Any questions before I move on?
So, first of all, I love the real estate class. That they have one in Jericho?
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. So they graduate with a real estate license.
They do. That's why the designation at the top says the students must be a senior and turn 18 years of age by June in order to take the licensing exam. We do expect that there may be some seniors that do not turn 18 by June, so we just want them to be aware that they wouldn't be able to take the licensing exam until they turn 18, because that's the regulations for the certification exam.
I think that's amazing. Yeah. So with regard to the climate education requirement, so that's being included in biology because everybody takes biology.
Correct. We want to capture the whole cohort.
Right. How for the financial literacy, the state wants this, to start coming out 26, 27.
Correct.
So how are you going to capture students who don't take these classes?
So we've already met with the guidance counselors, and the guidance counselors are aware that they must meet they'll be given a choice, so the students can select. Some of them, right, are depending upon the mathematical ability, the interest level of the students. So we wanted to give them options, but all students would need to check one of those items in order to graduate. So the counselors themselves would be tracking what students have or have not met them, and prompting families that they need to register for specific courses. They give them options, so that's why we're identifying all of the options. And I will say economics is so popular that almost all of our cohort is captured under economics.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So these look great. Their additions, are we subtracting anything, or how does this work? We just keep adding classes?
I hear what you're saying. I think, you feel like, well, we're robbing Peter to pay Paul, essentially, right? So what happens here is we adopt the coursework, and then the students themselves make the requests. And, based on class size, it will depend upon what the student selections are, and then we'll determine whether or not a course would run or not, right? So that's essentially what happens, right? We put them into the course book. The students make their requests. Then the master scheduler tries to push the schedules, right, and give students their priority choices. Sometimes their priority doesn't come and they get their second choice. And then once the schedule itself is built and students have we've determined how many are signing up for each section, we then decide whether or not a section is going to run. If a section collapses, we then give the students the option of, this section is collapsing, what is your next choice in terms of where you would want to be.
Do you have a teacher assigned for every one of these offerings?
We do not. We have ideas. We've talked about staffing. We've talked about some changes that might need to happen. We always want to see whether or not there's growth or collapse of sections in other areas, because sometimes when another section goes down, it means that we can utilize a teacher under a specific certification to teach another course. In terms of the real estate, we've already begun I surveyed the staff to see whether or not there's interest. There are several people that are interested. We're then now in the process of discussing with those teachers what the requirements are and what their licensing is. Then they need to submit a complete resume to LIU Post, and then LIU Post actually determines who is the best fit candidate to be able to be the professor for that course.
I remember during the interview process, you mentioned a bunch of great initiatives you had put in place. Are those a work in progress, or they're were too small, or?
Initiatives with regards to new coursework, I mean, the real estate course is definitely one of the things that I proposed. In terms of other initiatives that we're working on, I've arranged for several trips to local area schools to take a look at other programming. For example, I'm taking our computer science teachers to Half Hollow Hills, and they're going to be observing their new lab that they set up for some STEAM and drone work and hydroponics and aquaponics. So we're looking at those options. We're also speaking to Walt Whitman School, so I'm taking some of our teachers there, and we're looking at it in terms of really elementary all the way through middle and high school programming to take a look at what types of computer science, Arduino, Raspberry Pi units that our students can see and experience hands-on across all disciplines. There's a program that I included in the Friday notes called Land, Sea, Air, and we're looking to actually split it amongst all the groups so that one cohort in the elementary might visit land, one visits air, and then the other visits sea. And then we're identifying with our computer science teachers and our STEAM teachers where it would fit best, and then which particular grade levels.
And then those entrepreneurial projects you talked about, are those something one day we could maybe introduce here as well?
I'll look into it for sure.
Very good.
And on the discussion about adding all these courses, we also like to include in our course booklet, these courses are running this year, while next year will be the following. Because again, we're very small. As you know, our graduating class is 101 students. So they can see the future. It may not be this year that, let's say, Financial 325 is running, but it'll be the following year. So you can plan ahead over multiple years what classes you can and can't take. We want to keep them as informed as possible.
Kim, just on the successful performance may earn college credit. When you say may, is it very random as far as what colleges will actually accept it as credit, or is that what you mean by may?
For which one? I'm sorry, which one are you talking about?
business.
Yeah. So typically with APs, it's always you may based on the score that you received on the AP exam. So AP scores of 4 or 5 are heavily considered. AP scores of 3, it's a question whether or not the school will consider it. Typically 5s, it's still whether or not the course itself aligns with one of the coursework that the student would be actively pursuing for their graduate degree.
You can get a 5 and still not a college.
It's very possible, yes.
So I just have a specific question now I just realized about the financial literacy.
Sure.
So if you have a junior that's planning senior year to take AP Gov instead of economics and all that, will that be an issue if they don't have financial literacy?
Well, they would have had financial literacy hopefully in one of the other areas. We're not waiting until senior year for us to determine whether or not they meet the financial literacy requirement. We're going to encourage them early. So there's advanced algebra with financial applications they could take. There's a business course. There's accounting. Like those all are also financial literacy.
Your question is someone who's
Like
a
a
junior
current
now.
junior.
The roll-up for this requirement is for the 9th grade
For the
cohort.
9th grade course.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. All right, so the next one is the pre-AP English 2. We're proposing this because we had already accepted the pre-AP English 1 last year, I believe. So the prerequisite would be for the pre-AP English 1 students. We would in turn remove it would be in place of English 10 honors. It would still have that designation, but it's really important for us to think about there's only one section of English 10 honors right now. So I think putting in both would really cause an issue in terms of students not getting their course selection.
Can that honors designation be included?
In the description?
In the description, yeah. Please.
Sure.
Okay. So there's no question about it.
In terms of the weighting you're talking about?
Well, I mean, just
that it is honors.
Yeah,
Okay.
because right now.
You wanted to say honors?
Yes,
No
please.
problem. Okay. All right, so then the new course that we're also proposing is AP Cybersecurity. And really the best chance for success here would be the completion of Computer Science 1 or an AP Computer Science Principles. This too is a brand new AP course, and we really feel like this also works towards our real world and workforce readiness. The idea that cybersecurity is almost everywhere in every domain that we have in terms of careers. It's an excellent opportunity for our students that are pursuing computer science to really gain a designation or an expertise in this particular area. And the next two are, I would pair them together because they both go with our music program. One is called Honors Select Chorale, and then the Honors Wind Ensemble. Both of these really are unique because they really take students that have scored exceptionally well, right, in NISMA solos, right, by receiving a score of 25 or above. The students themselves would have to interview or audition, right, based on performance, and then the students this would replace their regular band or their regular chorus. So it's not, they wouldn't be mixed back in with the regular population. They would be separated. It would be 1 credit for 1 full year in everyday course. And what this really does is, we have some students in the general chorus or the general band that are exceptional, and they're really being held back by playing music or singing music that is below their level. And because we have such a large mix, it's our ability to kind of extend their skills for those that want to pursue music and other avenues. And then the last course is the Art and Science of Observation, proposed by the Art Department. It's an interdisciplinary course that actually examines and unites science to the study of anatomy, structure, and observation. It's a half-year course and a half-year credit. It's great. I think it was really, and I think how amazing that it was our teachers had the opportunity to attend some professional development on Superintendent's Conference Day that also examined the unification of these two areas of art and science, and they were, really immersed in the experience, and it definitely inspired some ideas for what this course will offer. Any questions? Great, thank you.
Take one moment here. I want to thank Ms. Oswald, who's in the audience. What the art department does here in Cold Spring Harbor, being such a small school district, we often co-seat art classes, not just 2, sometimes 3 and 4 at the same time, so kids can take those classes, different levels, different mediums. It's truly amazing what they do with those students in the room so they can continue with the love of art. And I congratulate you, your department, your staff, and what they do to make sure students are able to continue with what they do in their career in art. So thank you, Christine.
At this time, could I walk on a motion to approve this, like the course at work, do it right now? Okay. All right, so I'm going to walk on a motion to approve the new high school. Take a motion. Do I have it at the end? I didn't see it.
It is at the end.
Should I wait or do
we'll
we do it
wait
now?
to the end.
Okay,
That's
wait to
fine.
the end.
I'm thinking maybe after that.
Okay, good. All right. Don't rush it. All right, I like it. All right. On to the community survey.
Thank you very much. As you know, at the end of last year, we conducted a community survey that went out to the entire community. We shared it multiple times via Parent Square and also on our website. And we had students who also were afforded the opportunity to take their survey. Some questions were very much geared towards students, others then depending upon the grade level where the parent had students in, they could take the survey, and they were also allowed or able to take the survey multiple times if they chose for each of their child, because you could have a child in Goose Hill, one of the elementaries, and at the junior senior high school, have different experience and different desires for them. So the survey was dynamic in that sense. We have a fuller output from the company that did the survey that we'll post on the website. It was extensive. It is extensive. I believe it's 40 pages long, which would have the greater findings. But here, this is an overview for the Board of Education and the community here tonight. And of course, those are our cute kids from homecoming a couple of weeks ago. So tonight, I'm going to sit down here so you can see the microphone. Purpose and content. We're going to talk about some of the bright spots that were reported in the survey, some key findings and overviews of things that we'll look to update that we think we need to change, some action plans for stuff that we did quickly, we'll continue to do quickly, 12 to 6 months shifts in our system, look at some of the possible costs of things we have to do, continue to look at metrics that we have in understanding how our district operates and how we proceed for a school. And a lot of this deals with communication. We're a great district. How can we continue to be a great district? We are looking to do a survey a year or two from now so we can see how did we do, did we improve, did we hit some of the things that we saw in the survey, and always how we could do better. So purpose and contest, we want to provide a clear public readout to all our families and staff of what we saw, what they reported to us, get it out to what the timelines are, who owns certain changes, who's responsible for making these updates, how we're going to measure them. And as I said, Hanover, who is the company that administered the survey, will post that on the website this week for everyone to see. So some very high-level bright spots that came. There was a very high level from the survey on security. So during this, when we took a survey, and since then we have done a lot of things to increase security across the district. We added new cameras, we added a license plate reader system, we added new gates, fencing. Our security staff have uniforms so they're easily identifiable. All our staff across the district have parking tags to easily identify which are staff cars and which are not. In the past, it was only at the junior senior high school. At the junior senior high school, the senior parking is numbered, so we know exactly who's parked in each spot. And if it's someone else in there, believe me, those seniors tell us right away because someone's taking a spot. It allows us to have better control of traffic and who's there. We also added some guards. We added a cart last year for athletics, so when the security is out for events and sporting events, it's easier to move around our vast fields. And we continue to do training with work. We had active shooter training 2 weeks ago at Goose Hill, and we continue to train all our staff on security measures. Next, we see academic expectations and access to extra help were very positive according to the survey. We see that there's a positive feel from staff and students about extra help. We also saw extracurricular and athletic drive and pride very high. We have a tremendous amount of athletic teams. Mike stated today at a presentation at CPC that we have 4 less teams than Syosset does. And they're about 6 times as large as we are, Mike? 5 times? The largest school in Nassau County. And we have 4 less teams than they do. So we have a lot of extracurricular activities and athletics. Key gaps that came from the survey, certain locations, restroom cleanliness and upkeep, and we'll discuss on some remedies as we move on later on. Lunch quality and variety, we've done some changes already. Consistency and discipline and reduction in appearance-based bullying. Some students reported about bullying based on their appearance, and how do we address that? Career readiness, some things we discussed already here with Kim in her presentations, giving authentic experiences. Transparency in the involvement of decision-making, and staff experience, professional development, and feedback and support. And again, I will go into more detail on these topics as we move on. So first, restrooms. What we heard, some low satisfaction on cleanliness. There were definitely some bathrooms we see that are the key hitters, where we see that students, I was in one of the buildings just last week and I heard over the loudspeaker, can we have a custodian come down? There is, toilet paper on the wall. Kids were throwing it, in there. So one of the things we've done is much more checks of the bathrooms. We've had at some of the buildings a change in our cleaning products to help them clean. We're calling in a company, if we haven't already, I'm sorry, Mr. Clements is not here to talk about, we're having a steam cleaner come in to clean the tile to try and keep it as clean. I fully believe a student walks into a clean area, they're more likely to keep it clean and respect that area than if it is messy. So these new products, I definitely, myself personally, smell a difference in the room. It doesn't smell as much. Having more checks, and then when it is messy, we need to let the custodians know so they go in and clean it. They need to walk by, and they are definitely across all 4 buildings doing more visits to keep it clean. Any questions here? I guess it's easy to do each one individually on restrooms.
Whatever cleaning solution they use at Westside smells fantastic.
Yes, it does.
I can recommend
It smelled
that.
like cinnamon there today. It was great. I don't know if it was the bathroom, but it smelled like cinnamon. Climate and discipline. Some felt that rules seemed inconsistent. There's always a challenge in a building. We can't advertise discipline that does happen. I know there are times parents have said to me, being a vice principal and dealing with discipline, this person got away with murder, nothing happened to him. Well, I know the consequence that child received, but I can't say anything because it's not their child. So there's always a difficulty there. With that said, we need to make sure that we are consistent. We need to make sure if something comes our way that we investigate and that we make sure that the consequences are appropriate and we follow through. Appearance-based bullying, again, a couple mentioned on how they look is how they feel they're being bullied. Again, we have to look at that. These are things that we work with a social worker, a school psychologist. As you can see here, we have a kindness ribbons, Red Ribbon Week, our social workers. And I also believe the reduction and hopefully complete ban of using the cell phones, especially at the junior, senior high school, is something that's going to help with the online bullying. Prevent students to be taking pictures, making fun of people, and the like. So these are all things that I think are helping to move in this direction. Having more classroom meetings we're doing. With athletics, we have our anonymous reporting system that students can use at the junior, senior high school to report if something's going on, they feel they're being bullied or something is not appropriate. We utilize that. We want to expand our restorative practices. We have grade level meetings. We have our students presenting here at school. Just being more involved in your school is going to make it better off for them. They're going to want to be there. Again, it's not as if we have a dangerous school. It's not as if we have a lot going on. We looked at the Hanover showed comparative numbers of the districts. We do perform much higher than the comparative districts. But again, if one student doesn't feel accepted or doesn't feel right, we want to reach out to the child and help them. Every single child is important to us, and we want to do whatever we can to assist all of them. Some other things, we started doing a monthly incident discipline report to the Board of Education. We get one at the end of every month is sent home in their Friday notes, including our cell phone usage. We're collecting other metrics, which Kim, I believe was last month, we discussed the metrics we came up with. Some that go directly to here is the leadership roles we provide our students. Student exit survey, when they leave a course or they graduate from Cold Spring Harbor, the good, the bad, we want to know those things. Student involvement in school activities, the more they're involved in school, the better the school is, the better the student is. We want to encourage that. Looking at attendance, cuts, infractions, tardies, all these things help look to see about the climate of our school and how we can help our students be better people, work with each other, and help each other out. Again, I'll stop at this. Does anyone have a question? Mark, yes.
A couple generic questions. On this page, I'm looking at the N for students is 30 to 31. Does that mean 31 responded, but one of those students didn't answer one question, so it goes 30? Is that why?
Correct.
Okay. Yes. And, some of we're not talking numbers here, but some of this data is troubling. But we're also talking 30 to 31 students responded out of how many could have?
This question was at the junior, senior high school, roughly 700.
Okay, so we don't even, I mean,
Right, it's not a good
the p-value's gotta be
Yeah.
almost useless, so it's, you gotta be cautious about making decisions based on this data, although, you know, staff, we had 47 to 50 respond, so 50 total max out of how many?
If you look at teachers, we're roughly 170 teachers across the...
Okay.
Yeah.
And then parents, up to 185 responded out of how many?
About, it's hard to tell exactly, we have 1,540 students. If you multiply that by 2, well, it's not going to be that high because we have multiple families, so say roughly 2,500.
And then the people that responded, I mean, I don't know if I would think are generally the people that want to make a statement that is less favorable. I'm not excusing some of this stuff, like,
no,
if you look at connect, you know, class lessons to outside life, 37% of students say, and the teachers are at 94. So the teachers think they're teaching, preparing them for outside life, and the students are like, I don't feel prepared at all. But then you go to the student number, it's at 31. So you really don't know. It's almost, it's unfortunate. We went through this exercise, and you want to get good data and good feedback, but I'm not sure we have good data to go by. What do you think?
You're absolutely right. Our numbers are low, but regardless of that, this helps us look at, these are questions to help us reflect on how are we making sure we're preparing students for life beyond Cold Spring Harbor? How are we making sure we're keeping kids that they feel safe in the building? Whether it's an extremely safe building. I mean, there are, I speak to our local police officer who they're in other districts, I'm not going to name, continuously and not here with fights and gangs, and we have none of that going on. So whether it's reflected here, it helps us reflect upon ourselves. These are questions we're asking ourselves and says, how can we do better for all our students? Even if one student doesn't feel accepted for whatever the reason is, we need to find who that is and help that student out. And I think we're fortunate being a small district, a very caring district, and our students overall are very caring. We can help them out there. So you're right, the data is not perfect. The numbers are relatively small. And I think you're right, people who tend to want to say something, take the survey, and those who think things are fine, don't say anything. So that does say something too. But you're right, it's not that hard data. And we couldn't force people to do it. I don't remember how many times we sent it out. 5, 6, 7 times we reminded them.
I know we did.
Yeah.
But I just, the root data is not great, but I also don't know how accurate it is. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're right. You're right. Any others before I move on? Focus on college and career readiness. You can see here, students want more authentic. This goes to what you just said there, Mark, career connected experience. We see some of the courses that Kim is looking to introduce. We have here like AP cybersecurity, business, the real estate. I think these are wonderful examples. And I will say some of the things the state is requiring us to do, like basic economic stuff. Someone who taught AP economics for 10 years, it was very theory oriented. It may not be those things about getting a mortgage, the cost of renting an apartment. Those weren't the things that were covered in there, but these are all things that students are going to have to do in their life when they go out and get a job. So I think these are good things that we make sure that we incorporate. We did do that above and beyond what was required to in the AP curriculum. So I think we've always been cognizant. The state is just making sure we do that as a whole. We're rolling out our career pathways in civics and language, as Kim has described earlier today. Increase in promotion of leadership, public speaking. We had 10 kindergarten and first graders here come up to make public speaking the cutest thing in the world. We're continually trying to do that, give our kids the opportunities. Dylan is here as a student board member. We had students who not just went to Normandy, but then presented at Nassau Community College about their experience and answered questions out of college from fellow students and adults about their experience. We gave them that opportunity. So we continue to try and give our students as many opportunities as possible. We always have Miss Almia, who unfortunately is sick right now with some congestion, updates on additional guidance programs. We have our board meetings are now recorded. Our communications during Parent Square, not only just in Parent Square, but then on the website, so it's easier for parents to see these things that are going on. And we updated the website to make it much easier for everybody to see what we're doing for college and career readiness. Not just college, we see the college process is starting sooner. It used to be really just a senior process, it's really a junior process. We're inviting everyone to our presentations. There's nothing wrong with starting in 9th grade, even in 7th and 8th grade. It's open to everyone at the junior, senior high school, so they can come and be part of that process. Questions on this one? No? Focus on transparency and involvement. It says what it is. We see with the Board of Education committees, we're looking to include community members. We're looking at our parent meetings. We saw just today, Mike spent probably an hour talking about athletics at our PTG meeting at the junior, senior high school. All the meetings across every building are PG meetings, the CPC meetings. I know I stay to the end to answer every single question. I don't leave until we're done. And then when it's over, I say for the people that ask questions they may not want to ask in public, and trying to answer everybody's question, have everybody involved, have an open dialogue. And this is also open for our students. We want to make sure our students are involved. We made sure in Parent Square, excuse me, not Parent Square, in ClassLink, we put the announcements on their ClassLink page that are at the junior, senior high school. The video announcements that come up, the announcements from guidance, just making everything more accessible for students, because I think it's important for the student to be part of the process. If we're doing all the work for the students, they go away to college, that's not helpful, because they're not used to doing the work themselves. A little struggle here in a very safe community, in a caring community, in a caring school is very important. We need them to struggle a little bit and learn on their own. God bless you, Ken. God bless you. Questions? Staff learning experience. So this is something we've gone back a little already for professional development and usefulness by some of the staff. One of the things we're going back to is having more choice-oriented professional development like we had done 3 and 4 years ago, where on superintendent's conference day you could choose some of the professional development you go to. Now, some are definitely directed. Certain teachers need to be at certain locations. I was just talking to Kim about our new teacher orientation, some of the work she had them doing yesterday on MTSS and working out and how to help our students. So we're providing definitely more professional development for our students and our staff to help our students. We're also doing quarterly reviews with our untenured staff, with our administration, so we best understand the needs that they have. Sometimes new teachers don't know what they don't know. So in education is a unique field, is we expect the same thing from a 22-year-old first-year teacher from that 55-year-old 30-year teacher. They could be teaching the same exact class and the same exact expectations of them, which is good. We want to have high expectations, but we need to support them. And a new teacher getting support and assistance and asking for help is not a bad thing. I have to say, when I was in school learning to become a teacher, they would say, make sure the principal doesn't know who you are. Don't stand out. Don't get in the way, just get it done, be invisible. That's the best way to get, that is horrible. If you need help, I think that is a strength to say, I'm having difficulty with this class. Through the years, I had some difficult classes. I can remember certain periods, they were challenging. Never Heather's. Heather's class was always good. We had a good class out. But certain periods were challenging. Second period was great, and third period was a struggle. And that's okay. You're dealing with different personalities. If you need help, we want to be there. I say if the teacher doesn't get tenure in Coldstream Harbor, we have to say, what did we do to help them? If we did everything we did to help them and they didn't take it and it didn't work out, I go to bed fine, because we really helped them. We need to make sure we're training our staff. In the business world, you get lots of professional development. We need to make sure we're doing that for our staff. We know, we've discussed this, we'll be hiring lots of new staff over the years. There's going to be lots of retirements there. I think we've been doing a very good job. I want to thank Brian for his efforts coming on. It's only been 5 months now. It seems like forever in the role. But in hiring good people, 2 of them here, 2 new people table right here, and making sure we do a good job. Any questions here? Next is on food service. There was some question about taste, quality, variety of offerings. We addressed this actually pretty early on already, not that we're done with this. We reduced the dyes and highly processed foods across the board. The food, I think, is definitely getting better. And I can tell you, I asked Jerry, who's the head of our food service, the difference in meals served from last October to this October. Now, food has become, meals are free through the state for all students. We were roughly 10,000, I think just under 11,000 last year. We're around 17,500. We've almost gone up 100%, about 70% amount of meals we're offering, from about 11,000 to about 17,000 across the board. So students are definitely taking advantage of the food and eating. If anyone knows, I eat the school lunch all the time. My wife does say I'll eat anything that she puts in front of me, but it's not bad. It's not bad. Say again?
What's your favorite one? We'll talk about the chicken.
It's Monday is chicken. They know here at Goose Hill I'm coming for chicken. Every Monday, Laura has a plate for me ready to come. I'm ready for you to come. When we don't show up, she's like, "Where were you today? You didn't get your chicken." So it's good. We moved to reduce plastic. So we have water boxes. We see some of them here on our table here. So we're removing the plastic there. We've added more filtration systems across the district. We're also looking to reduce the amount of plastic in our utensils. I talked with Ms. Tiger about using bamboo and cornstarch utensils. It's about 3 times the cost, but we're looking to reduce the plastic. Yes, cornstarch. And we're looking to do, just after the Thanksgiving vacation, a survey of our students grade 4 through 12 of the meals. It will be about 60 or 70 days in with a lot of the new meals, and they'll take that survey, and Mark, I hope our end is much, much higher.
Is the panini machine working?
I don't get the panini machine often.
Because I hear it's still broken. On and off.
Yeah.
I will find out if the panini machine is working. We have 2 if they're both working.
We could ask, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but we could ask someone that.
Has anyone here had a panini? It's only 2 days. Ms. Nabowski, did you have a panini this week? No?
Miss Severese.
Oh, Miss Savarese. Well, she's a senior. How often do you go out for lunch?
I usually just stay.
Okay.
Because there's no one having and I'd rather get my work done, but.
Yeah.
But it's gotten better since last year. Last year I feel like it was broken more often than not, but so far this year it's been a lot better.
Good. Good. I like to hear it.
But not every day.
It may
Just be nice.
I think sometimes the more you use it, the more likely it may break. But I think we bought a new one last year. They aren't cheap, so that may be reason, Ms. Savarese, why we have more uptime. Mr. Dan Bussey.
Sometimes it's also a staffing issue.
That is true, and oftentimes you may see Miss Tiger working the kitchen line because we don't have staff. There are some times, and Dylan, you could maybe attest to this, that they say the panini machine, not today, we just don't have enough staff to run it. It definitely takes more time to make the panini than just to have a plain sandwich. Thank you.
My former PTG board, if the panini machine went out of service, I knew about it before 7:30 in the morning. That's not an exaggeration. And I have not had that phone call this year.
That's good. That's good to hear.
Should I be looking for more panini staff?
Yes. When we hire, make sure you know how to use the panini machine.
Put that out.
Athletics and activities.
We're gonna find it if there is.
I mentioned high participation rate, not only in athletics, Mike sharing the number here versus Syosset, but also with our students. Ms. Harmon, who's not here, she's on maternity leave, looking to see, making sure we have a better understanding of leadership roles in all of our clubs and activities. So we're making sure that, and that helps students build those, not just join the club activities to be on the club, but make sure you have an involvement in there. She's been collecting data. She's been doing a very good job about how many kids participate, what they've been doing in each meeting, and the like. We're going to continue that, but also then have the leadership roles delineated, the expectation roles delineated for each group, and then have exit surveys when they leave there so we can see what we could do better moving forward. One of the things we're striving from, and I know we're not perfect, but I want to continue to move, and I think it's so important, is our communication, making sure that our coaches and it's mostly teachers who use Canvas to get information to our parents and students, so whether they're using Canvas, Parent Square, Student Square, Sports U, those need to be the communication devices that our teachers use for clubs and activities and our coaches do. And we'll continue to work with Mr. Mangino to make sure that is how they're done, not other methods. Questions here? Here's our action plan. We talked about many of the things that, the comments or the areas of help. This list here who the owner is and when we're hoping to get them accomplished. Some things are always going to be ongoing, engagement, professional development, food, how we always could do better. But this is a outline of owner and when. I'm not going to read here, you can read yourself. And then the last here, budget and resources. Again, most of these things I think we could do within our existing budget. Some things may cost a little bit more. Some things depending, change in food may cost a little bit more. We do have to be careful. I remember years ago, we went very super healthy in food and kids just weren't eating it. They took the lunch, took a bite and threw it out. So we have to have that fine balance of what's good and healthy. I think healthy choices have become better in general across the board. And also addressing students who have certain needs with the food that we could have what they need to eat.
So
yes?
The way to read this is, and say in the area of athletics and activities, the only issue that needs work is training on communication. That's it?
This was a high one. If you look back, I didn't go over every aspect here. High participation, student satisfaction lags adults in specific areas. That was on the slide. This is an important component is communication. What are expectations? Depending upon the different levels of athletics, what are the expectations you're going to get out of that sport? Playing time versus size of teams, when teams are operating, what it means. Again, Mike did a good job. Probably spent about an hour explaining what it looks like for athletics and time on task, how much time is dedicated to it. So there's lots of questions. A lot of it is communication, understanding what's going on, and that's a two-way communication, not just from the district to the parents and the students, but also back from the parents. I think it was very good at today's meeting, the questions parents were asking, and I know Mike is open, I think every administrator is very open to taking questions, understanding, and making adjustments when necessary and when they work out. And we need to continually do that.
Okay, I took that as just communicating like one of practices. So you're talking real interactive, because I think that is important. I think that's sorely needed, especially given the large percentage of kids that are participating in sports.
Right, and I think some things like Mike was discussing today, like the start of football and all varsity and JV team, that's not decided by us. Some parents get upset. I think explaining to them, Mike is actually going to send that email out tomorrow telling people now. You sent it?
It's already set, going out tomorrow.
Right, so they understand. It's open communication, so people have, and us willingness to answer questions that come back. It needs to be a two-way process. Any other questions? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We now will move to our committee reports and the work that has occurred since our last board meeting. Policy, Capital and Facilities Committee, and Ed Foundation. I'm missing one. Those are the committees that I believe have met. Yes? No? Am I wrong? Oh, I vote. Yes, say yes, okay. All right, so who wants to go first? I could kick off with policy. Okay. The policy committee met on October 31st and November 14th. We continued to prioritize the policies to be reviewed and began working on policy 1230, public comment at board meetings. This policy pertains to the procedure for audience to visitor portion of our meetings. All right, so that's policy. Does Capital and Facilities Committee want to go?
Could you come back to me? I'm just waiting for one.
Sure.
Unless there's someone else coming, right?
Do you want to do the Ed Foundation meeting with me?
We met with the Education Foundation. We talked about some future grants that we have. We're looking to move forward on with them. We also talked about ways to help promote the Education Foundation. We're looking for people to see what they do. They made the example of athletics is easy. They have all those banners that are up at the athletic field, so they could easily see that the sports booster is there. So a lot of people may not understand what the Ed Foundation is. We do understand some of the challenges. Athletics, for the most part, is at the junior, senior high school, so that makes a logic sense. They understand that. The Ed Foundation works across all 4 buildings. So we're trying to come up with ways to just promote the things that they're doing. They're a tremendous support for now more than 10 years, and the district being a true partnership in helping us do the great things we have here in Cold Spring Harbor. So we're looking to see how we can support them, and maybe some ways we can talk at that pop party, which is Friday, March 13th, I believe is the day. It's the front, yes, everyone knows, yes, March 13th. We've done traditionally, brought in students to help promote the things that they've done with the students. For instance, last year, or really this summer, the Ed Foundation bought microscopes for Lloyd Harbor and West Side. So we'd want to have some students there showing the people at the party how to use the microscopes, what they're learning from the microscopes. Maybe take your food from your plate and bring it over and have them adjust it themselves. In past years, we brought our laser etchers, we brought robots, we brought Chromebooks, we brought flexible furniture, we brought so many different things, and parents really liked it. We brought a 3D goggles, things that they purchased. So it's really that hands-on, let the students show off how they're using these devices to make them better students, to learn skills, not just in education, but for college and life. So it's been a wonderful partnership with the Ed Foundation, and we're looking to continue to work with them well into the future. And Heather was there with me. We were there together.
And I have a copy of
The current list of some of the things that they supported, I'll just run through them really fast because there's so many great things. The Flags for Freedom, the Music Lab at the junior, senior high school, the Tello and DJI mini drones, Humanities Night, which we've had for a few years now, the Global Play Day at Goose Hill, the Aquaponics Lab, those microscopes Joe was talking about, a plant wall, robotics, Lego kits, science journals, and they're sponsoring our collegiate circle, which is coming up.
That's right. Today we'll be accepting a $2,700 grant. This will be our 3rd year or 4th year? At least 3rd year, it could be a 4th year running collegiate circles, where we invite schools from around Long Island to come in and work together on various courses. AP Biology, the new biology course, the new earth science course, the chemistry course. So we can learn from them, they can learn from us, and we go and learn together to be better. So it's been a wonderfully successful program. The Ed Foundation is going to underwrite it. We already advertised going out that this is being underwritten by Ed Foundation, so it's no cost to anyone. Anyone who comes here can participate in the program. The food is paid for, whatever is necessary, so it's no cost for anyone to come together. It's over 2 days it's about a month away in December, so 18th and 19th, so we're really looking forward to it. Very thankful for the Ed Foundation. Again, they look into how it's going to help our students become better students, and we can learn from each other. So it's a very exciting program. I'm looking forward to hosting it again here in Cold Spring Harbor. I have to say, when the summer starts, I get the emails, are you doing collegiate circles again? Are you doing collegiate circles again? And Kim was like, yeah, we're ready to go. We got it out. They're so excited. So,
90 teachers currently.
so far,
Requesting to be part of
looking
it.
to come out. That is
Awesome.
great. That is awesome. Thank you, Kim, for all your work on that.
Dan.
Oh, Dan, yes, sorry, Mr. Dan Busky.
Great.
And everyone else, I'm sure Macon helps out. Steve, you'll be helping out too. Day 2. Welcome, Steve. You didn't know that, right?
It's all good.
Rihanna will be helping out. Yes, she will.
Mark, are you ready?
Yep.
All right.
So we had the inaugural meeting of the the Facilities Committee, and it was, Lisa agreed to join. This committee was newly formed and includes members of the community, which will supplement our, I wouldn't say expertise, but they'll supplement our knowledge and make, in terms of, I can't speak tonight, will supplement our decision-making process by informing us, given their experience in this area, and also the legwork they'll be doing. So we designated an individual from the committee who will go and meet with administration and staff. That's underway to bring back valuable information to the committee on various initiatives that we should consider. There's also a building conditions survey, which was done in 2023 by the previous architect. As mentioned before, we are going to update that survey, and that survey is a report that determines the short-term and longer-term construction needs of the district, and it has for example, on a roof, the life of the roof left and the anticipated cost of that roof when it needs replacement. So it's a very important report in terms of us budgeting for future liabilities. We're going to conduct an electrical survey of our power. There's been an ongoing question as to if we have sufficient power to supply initiatives such as the universal air conditioning we're looking to complete. Is that in every campus or just the junior, senior high school? All campuses, okay. And lastly, we discussed the possibility of putting in stone pillars in front of the metal posts at the new gates to have a more aesthetically pleasing look. We've already ordered and started to implement the Seahawks and the West Side Whales reflectors. So we're dressing up the gates that we newly installed to provide added safety for the students. And am I leaving anything out, Lisa?
I don't think so. We talked about one of the people, Kim Testa, who works in the town. She's on our committees, our facilities committee. She had brought up, all the grants, the different things that you can do for the grants. And I think that really just one of the most important things that came out of the meeting was that we need a list of priorities. What needs to be done, what can wait 5 years, what needs to be fixed right away, what needs to be included in the budget. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Can I have a question, Mark? So, this is right.
Yep.
That survey that you're talking about, I was reading about it, it's through the whole, it's all of our buildings, right,
Yes.
and grounds too, right?
It's fields, it's everything, isn't it?
It's, the fields aren't included. The big field thing would have to look to see our two field turfs.
Okay,
on the-
so my question is that, I just want to make sure I'm understanding this. Is that a survey that we do every so often anyway?
Has to be done every 5
It
years.
has to be done. So we're just doing it a little earlier now because we're hiring.
Because you have a new architect, and I
A
think
new
that's
architect.
important.
We want to, well, it has costs in it. The costs are also 2023 costs. We want to see if they're higher, but we also want to see if the original cost projection was accurate or not.
Okay.
So we have new architect.
Right.
We want to see how much they think X project will cost. And we also want them to determine if X project needs to be done in that time frame or not. So it's a
So when was the last time we had it done?
2023.
Okay, so we're doing it like a few years early, but then we don't
Right.
do it, then another 5 years.
I think I have to see what we can do with the state, if we could submit and reset the 5-year.
What? It doesn't reset?
survey needs to be
this is a state every 5 years. The next time it's due is January of 2029. And the fact that we're redoing the survey now does not exempt us from the 2029 requirement.
Did
So
you
we
know,
will
did you
have
know
to do
that?
it again.
I'm just curious. You didn't know that?
We're spending approximately $30,000 to hopefully save us a lot more than that.
Okay, no, I'm
That's
just
how-
curious.
That's
I
how
mean,
I
I'm
looked
just-
at
I'm
it.
just
We'll
asking
lobby
how
the
this
state to
works. I
see if
never
we
did
can
this
push
before.
it, if we
Maybe.
can.
Now, wait, I had another question. I
Yeah.
didn't.
And I also, we did include the wish list that the administration across the district for their buildings and things. And we're going to see how we can do that. For instance, when we talked about, we mentioned this here, our junior, senior high school cafeteria, it's operational, but it looks the same it did, I think, when we opened the building 55 years ago.
We're at first trying to get our arms around
A lot.
absolute costs that are non-deferrable. And that number, I won't put a number out tonight, but it could be meaningful in the next
No,
two-
I'm
yeah.
not disagreeing. I'm just.
And, yeah, and then we have a certain amount in capital reserves, but that money can, again, not to get into that whole discussion, that money can only be used under certain.
I understand that. So did we put that in? Are we voting on that, or is that something we need to
We
vote on?
don't need to vote.
Oh, we don't? Okay.
I brought it up today just so we're all aware that we're going to do it. We have on the record that we're going to do the survey. It also really gives our new architect that deep dive into really looking, popping these things up, seeing what's in there, truly understanding what we need. And Mark is absolutely correct. $32,000 what it's come to is a lot of money, but looking at the grand scope of keeping 400,000 square feet operational,
Right.
it's a small amount compared
No,
to all the, I get
agree.
it.
I'm
We
just
want them to
asking.
know, to get the best pricing, and that's one of the things in talking and hiring this new architect is we need to make sure our designs are what we want, efficient, and we get our best pricing
Okay.
across
Yeah, I
the
look
board.
forward to,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and the good news is the committee's working as we had hoped with the addition of the community members because they added terrific value at the last meeting. So I'm really happy. We had a very productive meeting. And Mr. D chaired it, wrote copious notes and an agenda to boot.
Okay, thanks for doing that.
Great. I believe that's all for the committee reports. We will now continue with our first audience to visitors. The Cold Spring Harbor Board of Education and Administration welcome your attendance at Board of Education meetings. Audience to the public affords residents an opportunity to address the Board of Education on both agenda and non-agenda items. Each resident is allowed to speak for 3 minutes. This is not the forum to discuss student or staff-specific issues. Please contact the district separately on these matters. Anybody like to speak? All right. We are going to move to the approval of the minutes on page 2. Take the motion for October 14th, 2025 minutes. May I have a first? Lisa, a second? Kate? All were present? All in favor? Take a motion to approve the October 21st, 2025 minutes. Bruce, you are absent for this one. Could I have a first? Lisa, a second? Kate? All in favor? I'll take a motion to approve the November 12th, 2025 minutes. Mark, you were absent for this one. Could I have a first? Kate, a second. Lisa, any questions? All in favor? We now will move to the personnel recommendations of the superintendent. We will take the leaves and resignations on pages 2 through 3 as a slate. May I have a first? Bruce, a second. Lisa, any questions? All in favor? All right. We now move to business recommendations.
If I can just
Oh,
one,
sure.
first I just want to thank Nicole. Nicole will be tendered a resignation for retirement at the end of the school year. I want to thank you for your years of service in Cold Spring Harbor. Special education is challenging and difficult, and I want to thank you for all your hard work and efforts for our students here in Cold Spring Harbor. Thank you, Nicole. Congratulations.
I did, we can.
Okay. I want to thank Allison for being appointed. She's taking copious notes, and I assume this is Mr. Allison? This is husband here? Hey, Mr. Allison coming. Again, thank you for coming today. We're very happy to have you on board as part of the team here. We're really looking forward to that. Welcome aboard. And I want to say to the staff, if you want to leave, administrators, I know you need to be here tomorrow early again. Please do. You're welcome to stay, but go home.
Good job. All right. We now move to business recommendations. We will take donations, budget transfers.
You only did, sorry, you only did leaves and resignations.
Oh,
I
my bad.
wasn't sure. Okay.
I thought
Thank
I
you.
did. I moved on to.
So Allison, hold off in a second.
Don't leave. Sorry, it's my fault. We will take all appointments and personnel contracts on pages 3 through 10 as a slate. May I have a first? Kate, a second? Bruce, any questions? All right. All in favor? That was my bad. All right. It's getting late. It's getting late. Congratulations.
Likewise, really excited. Thank you so much. It is exciting. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Thank
too.
you.
Have a good
Bye now.
night. We now move to business recommendations. We will take donations, budget transfers, claims, auditors reports on page 10 through 11 as a slate. May I have a first? Lisa, a second? Kate, any questions? All in favor? We will now take additional business matters on pages 11 through 12 as a slate. Can I have a first? Lisa, a second? Bruce, any questions? No. All in favor? We will move to take special education reports. I'm sorry, we will take CSE, CPSE approval and contracts on pages 12 to 13 as a slate. May I have a first? Bruce, a second? Lisa, any questions? All in favor? We will now move to other matters on page 13. We will take both overnight field trips as a slate. May I have a first? Kate, a second? Bruce, any questions?
Question, but the model you in there,
Yes.
is that, we're picking up the cost of what, the transportation or the whole trip?
We're just approving it.
We're approving it.
Just approving that they're going?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, thank you.
Nope.
Okay, any other questions?
Okay.
All right, all in favor? Lastly, we will vote on the new high school course offerings. There it is. May I have a first? Anyone?
No, we both put our hands.
Oh, Kate, I'm sorry, first.
Both jumped out. We all are.
Second, Lisa. Any questions? All in favor? Okay. Now I'm going to take a motion to walk on the adoption of a resolution for Public Officer Law, Section 18. Should I read it at this time?
You take the motion
First.
to walk it on first.
Got it. Could I have a first? Lisa, a second. Kate, any questions? All in favor? Okay. Take a motion to approve the adoption of the resolution of Public Offices Law, Section 18. I'll read it. Whereas the Board of Education of the Cold Spring Harbor Central School District, the board, desires to protect its employees as defined in New York State Public Officers Law, Section 18, to the fullest extent possible. And whereas Section 18 of the New York State Public Officers Law allows the board to provide for the defense and indemnification of said employees pursuant to the terms of that section. And whereas it is the intent of the board to provide such defense and indemnification to supplement any other defense or indemnification protections conferred by other laws, rules, and/or regulations. Be it hereby resolved that the board hereby adopts all the protections of Section 18 of the New York State Public Officers Law for its employees as defined therein, subject to the procedural requirements of that section. Be it further resolved that the benefits provided by Section 18 of the New York State Public Officers Law shall supplement and be available in addition to defense and/or indemnification protection conferred by other enactments. That's it. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
How is employees defined?
Public Officers Law 18. The term employee shall mean any commissioner, member of a public board or commission, trustee, director, officer, employee, volunteer, expressly authorized to participate in the publicly sponsored volunteer program, or any other person holding a position by election, appointment, or employment in the service of a public entity, whether or not compensated, but shall not include the sheriff of any county or any independent contractor. The term employee shall include a former employee, his estate, or judicially appointed personal representative.
So that's broader than you would think if you just hear the word employee.
Correct. It specifically includes members of the board.
Right, very good, thank you.
Any other questions? All right. All right. All in favor?
I'm sorry, did somebody move?
Yes,
didn't
I
catch
moved. Didn't I move? I moved initially. Who was it?
that. To walk
No, I
it
moved
on.
to walk it on, then I thought I also moved to approve it.
You read it, but can we
Oh.
just take it first?
Can I take it first? Okay, to approve that. Even if we
Just to
didn't.
play it safe.
That was the any questions
part. That's one of our biggest questions, right?
Yeah, but I may not have said motion.
Maybe,
I don't know if I
It's
said
okay,
it or
it's
not.
just-
Just do it again,
yeah,
Kate
yeah,
and
yeah.
Lisa, okay. All right, all in favor? Okay. The agenda includes financial reports on pages 13 through 14, and these reports are for informational purposes. No vote is necessary. If needed, Mr. Dragon will answer any questions from the Board of Education and public. Feel free to call his office. We will now continue with our second audience visitors, but as no one is present, we will move on. This is the second discussion section of our agenda. I open the floor to any other discussion items from members of the Board of Education. Any takers?
I just have a question. Yeah, sorry, Bruce. It'll be quick. Mr. Deese and his team spent a lot of time on that allowance report, so we don't want it to go to waste. I'm not going to bring it up now, but is that something, any questions on that we should handle in the facilities committee or the next meeting?
The allowance report is about change orders to capital projects, so I think the facilities committee would be a perfect place to ask questions about that report. But I gladly answer any questions that board members have that are not on the facilities committee. So have fun. It's hyperlinked, all the change orders are hyperlinked so that you guys can read them and ask me any questions you may have.
Do you have a preference that if we do it at the next meeting or in the committee? Anyone?
I'll be both, so I'm not.
I guess maybe raise them in the committee, and if you have if anyone else has questions, they can feel, that's not present, they can feel free to raise them here.
Meeting December 8th.
Yeah.
Again.
And then we're
board
meeting the
meeting is
12th.
The 9th.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, if there's something I feel needs highlighting, we can discuss at the board meeting, so perfect
That's right.
timing. Good stuff.
And Allison's going to be there at the meeting. We invited her and she accepted it, so that's going to be great.
Great.
She starts tomorrow, or?
No, the 19th is her official start date, but
But it may be sooner. But by law, her current district could keep her for 30 days. We're working to see if we can get that to be shortened.
Okay.
December 9th.
December 19th, yes, thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Bruce?
what did you think I meant?
2 days from now, tomorrow.
That's right. It's in there.
All right. Moving on. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? May I have a first? Kate, second. Lisa, any questions? Bruce, question? Okay. All in favor?
Thank you, everyone.